T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
No, go ahead. I'll let you have your moment. Go ahead.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another amazing episode, installment, series of this series, the Midheaven Podcast. This is, of course, your host, the Peace Dealer, and I'm with, of course,
Candace Marie. Also affectionately referred to as Hades and Hermes, apparently.
Yep, we're going with it.
I'm kind of into that. I'm about ready to make that a thing.
She's Hades and I'm Hermes, and welcome to the Midheaven Podcast.
Right?
Yeah. One takes people to the underworld and the other one tortures you when you're there.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Beautiful.
We're making moves. I'm not going to tell you what episode number this is because I forgot. 27. Hey. Wait. 25. 25. This is why I don't do this anymore. This is why I don't do this. Just forget it. It doesn't matter. You don't need to know what number.
Oh, yes.
Shit.
It is what it is.
We're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our candle making episode. If you didn't check that out, please check it out.
Please
Mike
check it out.
and Candace make a candle.
Oh, yes.
# White Woman Witchcraft. But we're back this week to talk to you guys a little bit about current events, stuff that's going on, and the beginning of Virgo season. So some of you guys are like, wait, but we're still in Leo season. Yeah, but you know, we're gonna talk about this depending on which order we put this out in. So I don't really know. But we want to talk to you guys a little bit about that. Just some stuff maybe that's going on. What's up with you?
I'm actually enjoying this Leo season energy. I'm getting up somewhat early. I've been working out again. I'm not playing with my friend Willie, and
I've been watching those no fap vlogs.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been watching them.
It's been pretty inspirational. It's hard to make the greatest vlog ever, especially when it's about not beating your meat, but
what do people even say when you put that out there? Like, do people comment on that?
They laugh, but they like it. Yeah, they think it's inspiring. I think they see, a young man conquering his urges and
I think it's hilarious that you're putting it out there, and especially a couple things. So number one, I had to break it down and I had to ask him. So the whole no fap thing. So it's not masturbating, not having sex with women.
No, that's a good question. So there's no nut, right? Where you don't nut, you don't ejaculate.
Where's the cream filling?
Right. I mean, right. Imagine, right? It's all the flavor there. So there's that, and then there's no fap where you don't fappity fap. You don't
When you say that, I think of that little cartoon. You know what I'm saying? The little cartoon that, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
Yeah, the fap guy.
No,
it's a thing on the internet. It's an internet
thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's hilarious. Hilarious. With the button and the.
Yeah.
Oh my God, must not fap, right? I mean, there's that. I have a different spin on it because when you think of fapping, you think of lotion and watching porn. And I didn't want people to think that I walked into the video or the vlog doing that. I'm not a lower level fapper. I stopped doing that.
He likes to set the mood, He likes pure oils and roses and some sade and some candles.
And
you gotta set the mood.
By that, she means imagination, Instagram in the shower. You know what I'm saying? Just knock that out and. Who needs porn when you have Instagram? This is basically the dream of every teenager back in school, whoever wanted pics from chicks, they give it out for free now. We need to be grateful for the little things. But I let that go, okay? I just decided if I am gonna nut, it's gonna be in vaginal walls. So, I've decided to, and now
does
I'm
this
10 days
push
in.
you, does this give you more incentive to try to smash?
I'm just a lazy asshole. So
You gotta try. You gotta finesse the pussy.
that's the thing. Like, and I don't know if it's all the earth I have and the Taurus rising and being a projector. I just magnetize stuff.
Well, that's
I
right,
do
you're
have
a projector too, like me.
You're a projector
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
I'm a Mars and Aries, so like before I learned about human design, I would always make the first move. I would always like act, and my Mars is in the 12th, right? I'm a projector, so I learned how to wait for the invitation. So I'm gonna still shoot my shot, right? I'm gonna still do what I do, but I'm just not inclined to take effort that I don't have to take unless it's set up. Now on the other
Mars and
end,
Aries. My Mars in Scorpio is like, that's cute.
right, no, on the other side of it, because I'm not social, right? Like, I'm not really a social being, but outside of that, like, there is like the time and effort to take to talk to someone, get to know them, and like I'm just lazy. Like I'd rather just like, or just like, oh, I don't even do this. I'll just like mind my own business. But now that I'm becoming more social and like, you know, it is adding some
He's
incentive.
an eligible bachelor, let me tell you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so many of my
it is what it
friends
is.
and like clients are like, what's up with your co-host? I'm like, have at it, ladies.
Right. I mean, that's really the reason why I'm single. That's why I don't really have much sex. I just won't put in the effort, really.
Because it's just so much easier to just...
It's not, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even so much that it's easy. I ascended my fappery. Like, I got so good at it that...
You ascended your fappery?
I got so good at it that it almost kind of felt better than regular sex. So it was just like, okay, I have to like go back to the drawing board. And it's not that it felt better than regular sex,
It's
but...
such like a Mars and Aries, like
in the
selfish
12th
thing
house,
to say.
it is, yes, it's mad selfish.
It's
and
so
that's another
selfish.
thing too. So another reason why I realized is it's not even that I don't want to make effort, it's that I'm selfish as fuck. Like, I really just want to have sex, and then I realize, wow, like I have to really get to know this person and understand how amazing of a personality that is, and really like, and it's like, no, I'd rather like hire an escort or just have sex. So how do you know what I'm saying? And that's maturity. Like, of course, as I grow older, I learn that
God.
like there's
We live in Las Vegas, okay? It's legal here. That's all I'm gonna say.
I won't hire an escort. I've had the opportunity, but like, you know, I mean, I'd hire an escort maybe to run an escort agency with, and to like, you know, find people who want to do that. I actually
Trying to be a pimp. So
yeah, get a brothel and a strip club.
How
like,
appropriate for Virgo season that we're talking about all this. Because Virgo's, like the 6th house in Virgo doesn't get enough
respect,
enough
really.
respect for
Yeah,
that.
it's
I've met
very
more
important.
Virgo prostitutes, escorts, strippers, sex workers.
Actually, I have
Porn
a story about
stars.
that. I was actually in a hotel, and this gorgeous Virgo lady came out of the room she was in, and my Leo friend was like, oh, you need to go out and talk to her, just holler at her, see what's up. And so come to find out, she was actually a sex worker. She was like next door with this like older dude, like basically like servicing him. And like she said, oh, I saw y'all in there and I only came out to get y'all attention so that basically that could happen. And like the Leo did all the work. Like that's when I learned that Leo got game for sure. And like, you know, there might have been a choo-choo session, but other than that, like, it was the Virgo 6th house thing is for real.
I feel like Virgo is like a combination of Gemini and Scorpio.
Oh yeah, yes,
It's
yes,
like a
yes.
blend.
Oh
It's
my
a
gosh,
hybrid.
That's so true.
And so when you think
Yeah.
of Virgo, the sorting, the sifting, the purification, the serving, the self-sacrificialness, very similar to Pisces, right? Because the zodiac is really like 6 signs. There's just duality. But something about Virgo, I don't know, it doesn't...
I love that you said that, because that's so true. Like, Virgo is like the Earth Gemini.
Yeah.
But I've always seen it as Diet Scorpio. It's like Scorpio just without the intensiveness, and it's still intense.
They get
but just
away
more
with
subtle.
shit that Scorpio does not get away with.
That's because they think like Gemini.
Hashtag, we're
They think
gonna
like
give
Virgo.
some love to Lucas. What's his name? Lucas Bear.
Bro. Lucas Bro. Right.
He's like, why do you hate me? There you go, Lucas. There's your love. He's like, you hate me. I'm like, I don't hate you. I just hate somebody who has your birthday.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Somebody
That's really what
ruined
is.
it for you,
Somebody
bro.
ruined it. Same year though, because it's the Leo placements. Leo placements are like my downfall, but
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
I don't hate Virgos. I don't hate any sign. I actually have really close friends of all the zodiac signs. I just feel like that's my 12th house, so I have no mutable. I have a lot of Capricorn. I have a lot of like Earth energy, but for me, it's just something that I don't get. Like I don't get mutable energy the same way I don't get Geminis, the same way I fucking can't get along with Sagittarians. It's just. I love you though. You're like the only like Gemini man that I don't want to strangle.
No, and you know I get that a lot, and I realize it's because
It's your Taurus.
Yeah,
it's your Taurus.
It's so much Earth. Well,
and your Cap.
The only thing I have in Gemini is the Sun. So like, it's the Cap. It's the. If I didn't have the Cap, if I didn't have the Taurus, I would be the Gemini you all hate. More inconsistent.
He is just in the background. You guys just don't see it.
I would openly cheat and be like, listen, like I didn't try and hide. I tried to hide it from you, boo. So
but
that
your
means
Venus
I care.
is in Taurus though, which
So
is like
I'm monogamous to a fault. Like I don't even want to cheat because one, I'm too lazy to. Too much effort. Two, monogamy is a job, and loyalty. I just like being loyal. I just like. I don't know, and I respect that because if I didn't have that, I would see multiple people, like for sure. Like if it was an Aries or Gemini, like I feel that it's not even like I feel the Gemini restlessness. Like the Mars in Aries is ready, the Gemini Sun is ready, but then the Venus in Taurus and the Moon in Cap is like
my progressed
no.
moon is
We're
in
doing this the right
Gemini.
way.
My progressed moon's in Gemini, and my progressed Venus is in Aquarius. I feel very different.
Oh,
yeah, I feel very different than I used to feel. Now I'm just like I don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Like there's like this like not. It's nice to just not give a fuck.
It is. It feels really good.
Lots of love for like the Virgos, the Tauruses, the Capricorns, all those placements. I think it's going to be really great for you guys this season, especially considering the fact that we've got Mars and we also have Mercury in Virgo. So a lot of like getting down to details, right? Like, you know, committing to actually consistently walking the dog, you know, making the appointment for your physical, getting your teeth cleaned, organizing the house, like getting stuff done on your to-do list. So it's nice because there's a lot of aspects that are also being made to Pluto and Capricorn, which is expanding the power of organization, cleanliness, sorting and sifting, you know, being able to make better sense of things, practicing discernment. And it's also going to make aspects to Uranus. So what's your take on the Sun, Mercury, Mars? We lost Venus. Venus already went through Virgo by the time that we get to Virgo season. But what do you make of like those conversations that are being made with Pluto and Uranus?
Such a good question. So, I mean, we do want to honor that Venus is going to go through Virgo first. So that's going to I like to see that as like Venus laying the breadcrumbs, setting up the social context beforehand. Like, I think Venus going through a sign like it does is like, while it's going through Virgo, you're making the plans now. It's like, okay, in 3 weeks, we're going to meet. And then the sun going there is when you actually meet, right?
Right.
So, you know, Venus is the 9 of Pentacles. It's going to balance going into its dignity in Libra. I think with Sun, Mars, Mercury, and Virgo, it's all going to quincunx Aquarius. And the reason why this is important is all the 2020 shenaniganery with the Capricorn energy was a developing situation.
Yeah.
And now that Saturn's in Aquarius, Virgo is going to analyze the bejesus out of the knowledge we've been peddled.
It has to.
And it's going to call out all the inconsistencies.
It has to with the aspects that it's making to Neptune. It has to with the aspects it's making to the nodes. I really like this Virgo season. Like, I like that you spoke on the inconjuncts that it's making. The sun square the nodes is going to be interesting for definitely like turning up the volume when it comes to like really sorting through like the details. But the opposition to Neptune, the square to the nodes, to me that seems like it's about like really cutting through the bullshit.
Oh my God, yes, literally. And I'm glad you said that because opposition to Neptune.
Yeah.
Like that's key. The opposition to Neptune, the quincunx to Saturn, the trine to Uranus, I feel is going to be so good for money. And even if you don't make
physical changes,
right? Even if you don't make a buttload of money, you're going to change your perception towards money making. That will lead into you making a lot of money. Like, let's say you even come into a loss. This Virgo season through a loss could be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Or I need to change the way I do this.
Innovations with Uranus, and then with trines to Pluto, it's like,
practical
wow, I
change.
probably shouldn't be fucking eating fast food and jerking off every day, so I gotta make a change. Every Virgo has a vice. Don't get it twisted.
Virgo,
I know a lot of
vices,
Virgos.
yeah.
They need to have a vice. They can fucking jog every day, take all their vitamins, go to work, show up, do their whole thing, but they're definitely fucking smoking pot in a bathroom stall. They're doing cocaine. They're doing something. They've got some weird thing. They have to have a vice.
That's true.
It's true. It's so true.
That's wild.
Some of the Virgos I know
They either hide it or wear it on their sleeve.
No, they have a couple drinks and then they just air
and
it
then
all
it all
out.
comes out. Yeah, that's wild.
I had a
That's
Virgo
crazy.
friend that I was friends with for a while. We used to go out, and I was like, I don't know what this guy's deal is. I was like, he's super fit, he eats well, he works, he's got his own place, he's got all his shit together. And then like 2 drinks in, and he's like fucking buying drugs in bathrooms in West Hollywood. And I was like, there it is.
There it is, yeah.
Something about that vice, like Virgos always have to have a vice. And most of them, it's usually cannabis more than anything else.
Yeah,
it's usually cannabis.
Yeah, I like this. Wiz Khalifa for sure. Like, shout out to Wiz. Like, I've seen him do that 10 puff challenge and not cough once.
What's
I'm
that?
like,
Oh, you just don't
you're
cough.
not human. I mean, I'm talking about stoners cough. Like, I've seen someone do the 10 blunt challenge. Like, you just take 10 puffs and then you don't cough. And I've seen some people don't cough. He like didn't cough. Like he wasn't even about to cough.
I'm
I was
impressed
like,
by
he's
that
not
lung
human.
capacity, honestly. That's
He's not
impressive
human.
to me.
He's not human. That's the thing. Like
I can do that with a G pen.
I thought he was human, but
If you don't hit it hard enough.
really.
Yeah.
And that has like red. All right.
If you don't hit it hard enough.
Y'all got some different energy.
Sun Mercury.
I'm on to y'all. It is. But Sun Mercury too. That's it. But
Got that lung capacity.
and you know, don't sleep on jacking off and eating fast food every day. That's an
Don't
important.
get it twisted.
That's an
If I
important
could
part
eat
of the
fast-
spiritual
if
journey.
I could eat fast food and drink and smoke and masturbate all the time, I would. But I
Right.
can't. Because
Right.
it's going to make me look like shit. And I'm going to age. Not masturbating, but everything else.
Everything right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an important part of the journey, and then you move on from it, and then you know, it's the self-love that we don't call self-love, we call toxic, but you have to care about yourself to do all that every day. That's devotional. So like,
And it's funny because like, you know, Virgo gets a bad rap for like being like neurotic. But
Right.
like if it wasn't for Virgos, like who's going to clean and organize things? Like who's going to be able to call out the bullshit? Who's going to be able to, you know, organize and schedule appointments and tend to the house plants? Like I have a lot of love for Virgos because they'll do a lot of the shit that I frankly can't do. It's like I said, it's my 12th house.
That's what it taught me about Cancer, Virgo, and Scorpio. If you think about, these are the 3 signs I think that see the nastiest, dirtiest things because they're all cleaning, right? Like Cancer is the water, Virgo is the cleaning. So of course the person who cleans is gonna clean up the most nasty shit. And
So
then
Scorpio's the trash man?
well, Scorpio is, but more so, I like to see Scorpios like the toilet bowl and a trash can, but more so
This
like,
is true.
but
Can
more
confirm.
right. But like if you go to the nitty gritty, like dark, like it's only Scorpio that can purify that. So like if you don't have that like ultra solvent that's pure, like you'll have the stains there. And Scorpio, so that shows you Scorpio and Virgo like approach or have to deal with like the darkest, ugliest, dirtiest parts of people, but they can clean it.
Well, and
make
that's
it, like,
what's so fascinating
brand
to
new.
me is like the beginning of Virgo season, like when the sun ingresses into Virgo around the 23rd. That time period, the sun is 0 degrees, the moon moves into Pisces, conjunct Neptune. It will oppose Mercury and it will oppose Mars. So off the bat, right, we are automatically analyzing, sorting, sifting, going through things and trying to figure out, like, you know, Virgo is like that very like earthy, this is how things are, but Pisces is like, no, this is the bigger picture, this is what's going on spiritually behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I see it as like cutting through the smoke screen, like from day one, and also moving into the direction of being able to really analyze what is and is not worthy, or what is or is not real. So I'm looking forward to that, especially before, yes, I love Venus in Libra, but this is not a normal Venus in Libra transit. Venus will come into Libra, it will trine Saturn, it'll trine the North Node, all in air signs, so it's very social, it's very unusual, it's kind of different. It'll square Pluto, right? It's going to oppose Chiron. I mean, there's some stuff here in conjunct Uranus. this is not the typical, like, you know, Venus transit that we see. And Mercury will retrograde through these same degrees, actually, in the end of September going through October. So I'm anticipating a lot of relationship drama this fall. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like seeing this coming into fruition, especially because that Mercury retrograde will oppose Chiron. It's going to square Pluto. Like there's going to be definitely some like big things that are changing for relationships and partnerships later this fall that a lot of people don't see coming. So it's almost like we have the opportunity through Virgo season to really start working on some of those crises early on, and doing away with like bad habits or people who are misleading us, right? Things that are kind of like hazy because of the aspects to Neptune.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up that haziness because we're going to experience the opposition through Virgo, but it's not so much that it's Virgo season and it's going to oppose Neptune. It's that we had the conjunction in Pisces, then the quarter square in Gemini, and so Virgo is completing what we dealt with since March, and I see that completion is blowing out the park and exposing definitively 6 months of analyzed data that shows, hey, none of this shit adds up. This is exactly what's deceptive about this.
Especially in pertaining to like healthcare, you know, what's going on in terms of like all the pandemic stuff, because Neptune is viruses.
Right. So and Virgo is healthcare and like
so we're gonna see this huge wave of like, okay, well, what's really going on, and like, what do we really need to do to be able to preventatively, you know, take care of our bodies, right, or serve or help. I think we're gonna have an opportunity to do that. There may be big changes going on with like insurance and health because of Pluto, right? And then also Uranus and Taurus. So it's like what is or is not covered by insurances, or, you know, what Pluto and Capricorn, the government, is doing to really kind of help when it comes to healthcare for us, at least in the States, so that way we can preventively. And I can't look at the opposition to Neptune without thinking about, you know, the needy, the homeless, you know, those who don't have enough. They don't have enough resources. They don't have a home. They don't have, you know, medical resources. They don't have food. Like that's going to be something that we're gonna deal with. I think what we're really learning through the Saturn and Aquarius transits is like we don't benefit by being wealthy or being upper class and then watching people dying on the street. That doesn't benefit us. And so I think that there's an opportunity to really assess situations much more clearly and in a way that, you know, Virgos can sometimes be a little tactless, but that's their mercurial. You know, they're just like, here's the facts. Right.
And you know, Saturn in Aquarius is testing the collective so that everyone can win. It's like group dynamics where, you know, Virgo can produce a reality hack here. What Saturn and Aquarius wants to teach you is, you know, one person can get millions of views on a video and be viral, but then you can have like 100 very influential people or 100 people who decide, let's show each all other love. And we have this network of people and we'll all like and share all of our videos and we all have 1 million views. This is the type of like consciousness that's coming through. I don't know if you remember in previous episodes, both Candace and I were speaking about how you know, with the sun opposite Saturn and the collective, we're going to start to see, I think we might have even mentioned it during the pool episode, but you're going to start to see the social environment start to oppose the authority because they're opposite. And just like we said, our prediction came true because now that the sun is in Leo opposite Saturn, mask mandates are back up.
Yeah, I mean that, and like we're just seeing like a huge flux of just like all kinds of stuff on the internet, you know, being like censored and kind of like regulated. Like they're limiting, they're silencing people, right? Whether
even more so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, and we talk about this a lot, like in terms of like the pandemic and stuff, but just looking at purely just the astrology, the feeling that I've gotten is that whether you want to call it the Delta variant or some other aspect that's going to play out, like I do think there's going to be another wave in the fall of 2020 one.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, I think there's another wave coming, which we may not really see, and it may not really come into full effect, or we may not have the numbers or anything, the regulations, the limitations until spring of 2022.
Right.
When Saturn in Aquarius moves to square the nodes in Taurus and in Scorpio. And then economically, then there's like, it's like really like, we're in deep shit.
And
So
Saturn,
that is coming because it's social restriction, social limitation, right?
Yeah.
And then how it affects us economically, because Scorpio and Taurus is very much about
Saturn in Aquarius is social limitation, is what you're saying.
yeah, and it'll come into a square with the nodes, and it's being kicked off with the eclipse that's happening in
Square
in
to the
Taurus.
nodes, yeah.
There's a 28, 29 degree Taurus. It's conjunct Algol, you know. And so I've talked about this with clients. I'll say something now. I'll say something now because I haven't really talked about it. But that's your ascendant.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the you know, Algol, I see it associated with like beheading, losing your head, either literally or figuratively,
Getting
like blowing
stoned.
up. Like think about like The Exorcist, right? Like her head
Yeah.
spins around. But
Or your head chopped off?
the last time we had an eclipse like that, it was right around the time that we had mad cow disease going on about 19, 20 years ago.
That's
I think it was in the UK. So I'm connecting the dots, right? And I'm looking at this transit of the eclipse trine Pluto, and then Venus will go retrograde. My prediction, and I'll put this here now, so it's like we're like the end of July 2021. My prediction is that something from the eclipse in mid-November through, let's say, May of 2022. So that's a 6-month window, but it might really peak actually January, February, 2022. Is that we will start to see neurological issues as a result of the vaccine.
Yes.
And I also feel like we're going to see, because of the aspects of Pluto and the Venus retrograde, there may be some huge infection with meat. There may be something that like kind of blows up that affects a lot of people. I just know it's going to be big. I know that also looking at America's chart, there's going to be a lot of like people losing their head, right? Or maybe even, I hate to say this, but like hanging themselves as a result of what's going on economically with finances and potentially like a huge market crash. So that's like a real thing.
It
like
is.
That's coming.
It's very fascinating too, because you have a lot of theories out there that are against the vax, like, oh, it's gonna kill everyone, and
There's neurological issues coming from
Right.
that. Like it's in the stars. It's not my political view.
We don't want to be unrealistic though, and kind of like be all doomsday. We have to think, with efficacy. I don't believe that the vaxes don't work. That would go against they work. Like that's the whole point. It's just. Whereas people are expecting like a quick results, we're going to see over time the effects of them, whether positive or negative. And then coming off this pestilence cycle with the apocalypse cycle and pestilence's involvement, even the whole notion of this quantum invasion, Saturn and Aquarius, you're dealing with viruses or stuff that you can't see invading you, right?
Neptune.
And especially Neptune. So we're seeing like waves of different viruses. It's important to acknowledge these are real viruses, whether engineered or not, but the stories behind them, the narratives, are not.
Well,
and this is where Virgo season is going to detail what doesn't add up.
Jupiter's back in Aquarius too.
That too. Oh, yes.
So, I mean,
yes.
as we're filming this, we haven't had the second full moon in Aquarius yet. The next one that we're having is going to be...
Last year it was in Capricorn too, right? This is our first Virgo season and Leo season.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see that 29-degree full moon in Aquarius opposed Jupiter. I see Jupiter in Aquarius as like magnifying like, this limitation, because Saturn's in the same sign pertaining to travel ultimately, right? Because it won't move back into Pisces until I think later this year or in the new year. But I think about like Jupiter moving into Pisces and Neptune being in Pisces, like Jupiter-Neptune conjunction next year on a more kind of spiritual level. We're going to see people clinging to their belief systems, whether it's like religious dogma or it's going to be their spiritual beliefs or just like
scientific dogma,
scientific stuff, or it's going to be like a bunch of like cult followers, whatever. But Jupiter-Neptune is like the worldwide spread of a virus.
Yes.
Right? Hi.
Yes.
And it's going to make aspects to
you're
fucking
right.
Pluto. And then we're going to see
And this is
eventually
very
Saturn's going to go into... Like, the future is, like, guess what? There's a shitload of viruses out there.
Exactly.
But do we
This
always
is just the beginning.
feel the need to vaccinate? I don't know. Are they pushing us on a government level to vaccinate with Pluto in Capricorn because of the sextile to Neptune? Because they know that the future of war is actually going to be, biochemical warfare. So are they actually trying to prevent that by saving us and getting us prepared for it?
And this is the most important thing. I love everything you said because, the last pandemics that were had, like the H2N3, H1N1, Jupiter conjunct Pluto. So you see, of course, Pluto representing the viral being spread by Jupiter. So you mentioning Jupiter on Neptune is so important because that's not only going to spread everything, but the perception too. Like a lot of the narratives behind how to handle the virus are bullshit. Like they're fake.
But also, like it's a invisible Neptune. It's invisible.
Invisible, right?
So is it real? Is it spiritual? Is the virus fear in itself? I don't know.
And Virgo season is going to practically. And that's why Virgo is analytical.
Yeah.
It's not just an opinion, it's taking analysis based off of details of the last year. And so we're gonna see, hey, this is what you guys said the science was, this is what the actual details are, it's not matching up. And that's gonna really create contention for the next 6 months ahead. And the only thing I wanna say is, it's very easy to project what's happening shadily to the government. Like the government is some ominous force, which I've always liked to believe it is, but like you have to remember there are people in the government representing you and fighting for you. Not everyone in the government is some evil cabal deep state member. So you want to think this with every field. Like you have people in the government who are exposing the corruption happening. You have people in the police because they get censored.
Well, and
or killed,
Neptune in Pisces.
Or silenced.
I mean, you see this aspect, especially with the sextile to Pluto. Like there is some aspect of the media heavily being affected by the government. Mm-hmm. It's just a sextile. That's what it is. It's what you see on TV, what you see on your screens, what you hear on the radio.
Sextile, Pisces,
that kind of tether of like, no, we're going to keep a lid on this. But maybe not necessarily just that. It can also be Neptune working in correlation with Pluto, where Pluto could be the government saying, look, it's not a good idea for the truth to get out because if it does get out, we're going to have a problem. And then Neptune could be the churches basically saying, well, yeah, it's a good idea to keep everybody under control because, if everybody finds out that aliens are real, then we're fucked and we're not going to get paid either.
Too.
There's something going on here.
And realistically speaking, the government is right to do, the government really can't tell us what they're hiding because it will destabilize the order.
You're not ready for the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And unfortunately, that's the truth because even though we need to, see, they're wrong, and they're going to get the integrity check by Pluto because they still should have told us, but if they tell us what they're hiding, there'll be worldwide riots. We know this because of, the riots that happened with George Floyd. So if people riot over that, then please, if they tell us what they have to keep classified. So there's that, right? It's just a matter of, public safety. But there's still corruption. And the thing is, when we take into account, I love so much that you brought in the sextile of Capricorn and Pisces, because let me tell you where this is going. Eventually, Pluto's going to go into Aquarius, Neptune's going to go into Aries.
Fuck.
Right. Uranus is going to go into Gemini.
I'm just like, oh my God,
the power is going to shift. We're literally getting prepared for civil war.
This is the end of an era. Once we get to the end of mutable signs and we enter into 0 degrees of a cardinal sign, there's no negotiation. It's just go.
Let's go.
Watch and pay attention, especially on the 23rd, when Mercury comes in opposition with Neptune and the Moon. I would say maybe the 23rd through the 26th. Be careful whose advice you buy. Be careful what you hear in the media. Be careful what you hear out in the world.
Developing situations that there's not conclusive evidence, but people will run with whatever narratives. And just to kind of, once again, once Pluto goes into Aquarius, we're seeing the end. If you think about why Capricorn sextiles Pisces represents a collective broadcast of information synthesized in a complete form to tell you why things are happening, hence mainstream media news, and it's enforced by the government. When Pluto goes into Aquarius, government structure and infrastructure is done.
And it's going to go in and out of 29 degrees.
Exactly.
So 29 degrees being...
it's a revolution.
It's a revolution, but it's also also year when we had Saturn go in and out of those degrees, every single fucking time Saturn hit 29 degrees, they closed a boundary, they closed a border, they tried to build a wall, they tried to shut down international travel. Pluto's going to go in and out of that degree for a while,
For a
up until
while.
2024.
Yeah.
So America essentially is going to become like this like policing state.
Yep.
Like, right, as a whole, like we're going to see like lots of boundaries and like more challenging to get in and out of the country or in and out of specific
And
states.
Aquarius is like the people, right? And Neptune or Aries is the individual. So we're going to make this shift where you have corporations of media broadcasts shifting from individuals giving the news. Like the news might morph into where everyone is a news reporter and you see the news through everyone's individual eye.
It's going to become like Minority Report.
Exactly.
Right.
And that might only happen if infrastructure is destabilized enough to where that's all we can do. Sounds like a war. Like that's all I'm preparing you guys for.
29 degrees of Capricorn also is the mark of clairvoyance. So one thing I think is interesting is like Pluto going deeper into.
Did you say 29 degrees?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
in
of
any
Capricorn.
Of Capricorn.
Yeah, for the Sabian symbols, it's what
Oh,
I named
shit.
my brand after was Beyond the Veil. It was that, but like seeking beyond the veil. If you read the Sabian symbol for it, but I think it's interesting is that like maybe, you know, government officials or big businesses or whatever are going to start hiring clairvoyants, psychics, intuitives,
Right.
People who can forecast and like actually look into the future.
Which is important because they've done this before.
Oh yeah,
The
this
CIA
has
has
been
done
going
this
on for
before.
a very long time. But
Yeah.
I mean, the Reagans had astrologers, and I think they had
Exactly.
psychics, and then also
The Men
you
Who
know,
Stare
the-
at Goats.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
movie.
I love. Well, the true story behind that is great, but I mean, it's really interesting when you think
Yeah.
about like the, what did they call it? It's the what is it called?
Telecommunication, telepathy.
No, not telepathy, but it's like automatic. What? It's not automatic viewing.
Remote viewing?
No, remote viewing. That's what it
Okay.
is. Remote viewing.
Oh,
Yeah, being
okay.
able to like see into stuff, which like clairvoyance can do. Like I don't know. I mean, you have your moon in the 8th, so I'm sure you.
There's
get that.
actually a cryptocurrency. There's actually someone who does crypto, and he attaches remote viewing to it. So what he did, and I believe him because
Yeah.
he's older. So like he has probably Neptune and Scorpio or whatnot, and like he actually has video footage of him remote viewing a burning church, and then days later that happening. And then he's like, "See, you motherfuckers, I can remote view, so you got to watch me for crypto advice, because I'm going to see." I was like,
That's something I'm
"Oh,
trying to get on.
God."
That's something I'm trying to
Right.
get into because I was like, I was looking at something the other day where somebody was like posting about like when there was going to be dips in the market, and I was like, that person based that off of a moon transit. I was like, that's crazy. I can do that. And then just because like, you know, like I know a lot about the transits and like the moon being like a trigger point, and, like how to like pinpoint like things down to like a day or even like an hour. Like I can do that. Like I can do that. So I'm
If
kind
you
of
can read
reading
moon
up more about
transits,
that.
you can know, if you can like
Yeah.
master moon transits, you can know the financial market,
Yeah,
stocks,
like when to invest, when to buy, when to sell, when you're going to get a better
competitions,
deal. So,
all
I mean,
that.
like, and because I know that, I'm like, like maybe there's, and I have Uranus, Venus, so I'm like, maybe
Right.
I should be doing that. Maybe it's gonna be my next move.
I spoke to someone today with Uranus, Venus, and Scorpio.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, she was dope.
freak.
It was no, my bad. It was a reading. I did a reading. Well, I mean, yeah, she probably,
Scorpio,
actually,
and
yeah,
Scorpio,
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of.
I just assume that
Those
it's
ones are
all
freaky.
automatically freaking.
What are they
out.
like? 77, 78,
Oh,
79?
that's a good question. That's a good question.
The late
Yeah, they're
70s.
70. They're like 76
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, that's deep. And yeah, I mean, Virgo season, we basically spoke of a lot of the outer planet dynamics. Virgo season, I think, is going to be an amazing breakthrough season because it's going to integrate all the individual growth you've come through. And the most practical change you'll come into with this grand Earth trine is just going to like ground not just what you've been doing this year, but for the past 5 years. So it's gonna really, you're gonna produce a lot and maybe think, oh wow, I got lucky. But it's not that you got lucky. It's not that something fortunate happened. It's that a lot of hard work is paying off. With the Neptune opposition, a lot of dreams are being made real. You're seeing through a lot of illusions that will change your mind to free up practical solutions you can use to change your literal life. And all I can think about this Virgo season is Libra season, everything goes direct. So Virgo season is going to be right.
Yeah, that's when like the reality train kind
The
of
reality
hits.
hits, right. The reality of
Yeah.
what's been happening, the reality of the people who didn't get vaccinated, the reality of people who did get vaccinated. What do you think about Huntington Beach, by the way? They have there's like this restaurant that...
Oh, that said, like, if you're vaccinated, like, you're not welcome
Yeah,
here.
you need proof of being unvaccinated. I didn't even think that you can do that. I thought the state would like fine you or something like that.
I don't feel like you should have to prove if you are or you are not vaccinated. That is a personal decision.
Right.
Your body it's your body, your choice.
Right.
I don't feel like you need to show either way. If you're not vaccinated, wear a mask. If you are vaccinated, do or don't. I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of like places like saying like don't come in here unless you're vaccinated. A lot of unvaccinated people are going to get upset about that. But on the flip side, it's like if somebody was like, yeah, only come in here if you're unvaccinated, I'm not going to walk in and be like, yeah, fuck you.
But that's the
I'm not gonna
genius
do
of
that,
it.
you know?
It's the genius of it.
It would be OC that would do that.
It would be OC,
It would be OC
right?
that would do that,
So
yeah.
obviously they're doing that
Well,
because
Republicans in OC, you know?
right.
Right.
That honestly made me kind of want to hit that up. Actually, I kind of just want to fly out there just to hit that up and be like, I wanted to visit your
You're gonna go in there
amazing
with your Trump hat
establishment. I want to go there,
Make it
chill, talk to them. Actually,
Are you gonna wear that?
I was like, okay, how are they going to know if I'm unvaccinated? Oh, I'll just get my MAGA hat. And they'll be like, oh, he's MAGA gang. I want to talk to everybody, shake hands, hug and
Eat
whatever.
some chicken strips with some white people, drink some fucking beers.
And I'm going to go home, get a COVID test. And if I'm negative, that'll tell me everything I need to know. Because technically everyone is a virus factory. So if I don't have a virus from there, you feel me? Like, that'll be very revealing. It is what it is.
So on the 29th of August, the sun comes into a square with the nodes. This is an interesting time period because then we see the moon move into Gemini and Mars comes into an opposition with Neptune. So we've got a mutable cross that's kind of like setting up from August 31st. Really through, right around September 4th. So definitely like a lot of like miscommunication, misunderstandings, like not seeing things clearly, like being misled possibly. And then it's the setup for the new moon in Virgo, which is actually a really nice new moon when you look at it on September 6th.
It's going to be the first new moon we have after the 2 full moons. So whereas we had new moons at the end of the sign, Virgo will be the first one at the beginning. It's like Virgo sorted it through again.
And it's going to be at 14 degrees. It's going to trine Uranus. And also Mars in Virgo is going to trine Pluto. Very solid.
14.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe I might get some or like...
You better not fap.
No.
Better not.
I won't be fapping, but maybe I might blow up or like...
Those Uranus-Venus transits are fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun transits. The trines, I've only really had the squares and the trines. The squares suck, but the trine was fun because there was just a lot of people coming and going in my life.
Good to know. 3. So...
And then shortly after that, then the sun comes into an opposition. This is an interesting period of time
to Neptune,
also.
right? Oh,
the sun's going to come into an opposition with Neptune.
Very magical. I feel like this is where...
Right here. Right around the September 13th.
And you want to really remember back to March when it was conjunct. What were the narratives? What were the ideas? What were people talking about?
Well, we were just coming off of all that pileup of planets in Aquarius. Then we moved into Pisces, and
it was still new to people what was going on. Like we still had just had a year of 2020, and people were still kind of forming their beliefs
all of the
about what's going on.
Too. Like we had all the Aquarius stuff, so a lot of people were like,
That
"Fuck
too.
this, I'm going out." Right? It was the first Saturn-Uranus square.
Yeah.
But also,
And
like I think
Taurus,
we're going to hear more about over the next couple of months, maybe the next 2 months or so, with the oppositions and the aspects to Neptune, is like how this has mentally affected a lot of people. How even though you can go out into the world, you can wear a mask, not wear a mask, get vaccinated, not get vaccinated, there's still a large number of people who are afraid to leave their house, interact with other people, mentally and emotionally, they're all over the place. And the kind of mental health damage.
A lot of gaslighting is psychologically damaging too.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot
Addictions.
of people, that too. It's very sinister, and it sucks because it's nothing new, but it's just more intense. And the beliefs that we carved out in March are gonna we're gonna start to analyze those beliefs. What was true about it through Gemini season, and it's gonna reveal that we've been peddled a lot of illusions, and this is very important because Virgo season prepares us for the action we're gonna take in Libra.
It's that segue, right, from summer kind of into like fall, and like Libra, any cardinal sign, they don't ask permission, they just go. And what's wild is when Virgo season is wrapping up, right, especially like around like the 20th, when the sun moves to 27 degrees, it'll oppose the moon once again in Pisces. So that full moon in that full moon in Pisces that's happening around the 20th.
The most magical full moon.
Just after this, okay, We see that Mercury is in the shadow in Libra. It's getting ready to retrograde. We see that the sun is coming into conjunction with Mars. Then we see that the moon moves into conjunction with Uranus. It squares Saturn. It's like this Mercury retrograde we're going to have in Libra at the end of September is fucking wild. It's super wild. It's going to be like this like reckoning, because then we come into the squares of Pluto and the oppositions to Chiron. So Virgo season is one of the last stops for clarity, understanding, healing, purification, sorting, sifting, fixing, healing, right? And it offers us a lot of support with aspects to Pluto to transform and Uranus to be innovative, where it's like, if you need to make a change, a real change, really use this season, you know, practice discernment, practice purifying and clearing and healing.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Leo season is going to give you the foundation to really carve out the energy and talent. You're going to end Leo season like, this is my talent, this is what I'm good at. And Virgo season, you're going to practice,
Yeah.
make it perfect. Then present it in Libra, and then have sex in Scorpio.
I'm looking forward to Scorpio season. It's going to be a doozy this year with squares to Saturn and oppositions to Uranus.
This is gonna be one. That's gonna be a Scorpio.
That one's going to be wild. All of like end of October into November is going to be super wild. And then finishing the year off with the Venus retrograde. So
Oh my gosh, 2021, Jesus.
yeah, this is, I keep telling people, I'm like, you thought 2020 was crazy? You should see like the end of 2021 through 2024. It's just, it's nuts.
I think like beginning of 2020 was like crazy, and then end of 2020 was like, actually no, all of 2020 was.
All of 2020, but the second half of 2021 is crazy. It's crazy.
The first half was the setup. The second half was like, bam.
Yeah. And then all of the change happens in 2022. So.
Yes.
Book in a session with your astrologer if you have one, or us, or whatever. Obviously, you know, if you need some assistance.
And y'all stay tuned for our next episode next week. Show us some love. Join our membership if you want to see these episodes come out a day earlier on Saturday.
Yeah,
it is worth it.
You can see it early. Also, if you get a part of our top tier, you can support the channel. We'll give you shout outs, and you have the opportunity to get one reading per month during our live shows on Friday. So if you want to get in there, ask us a question, you just even want to hang out and watch us, we really appreciate your guys' love and support. We love getting a chance to come on live in between some of these filmings and hang out with you guys. Yeah? Feel good about it?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we will catch all of you guys really soon. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out our links below if you want to book a reading with us. And if you want to continue to follow the podcast, go and check out our community page also if you have any questions, or if you want to make some recommendations for what you want us to make videos about. We're constantly coming up with new content for you guys. Okay. You guys take care. We'll see all of you guys very soon.